Hey Nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. Today we are doing some thrift shopping at Goodwill, trying to find some interesting vintage treasures to either add to my own home or maybe even find a few things to resell. So let's go ahead and see what was at Goodwill today. The first thing that grabbed my attention was this really neat button box, and it was filled with all kinds of various buttons inside. I thought this was the neatest thing. I will show you guys what the inside looks like. It was a little difficult to open up with one hand, so I'll show you guys at the end what was all inside of it, so stay tuned to see that. I love to look in this crafting section because you would be surprised at how much vintage stationery type items you can find. Look at this amazing binder I came across. I absolutely love the graphics on this. So fun. So this is something that you can go ahead and store your cards in, I guess, and you can write important dates on it. Such a neat little thing. So I never thought I would be a person that would want to buy something that was new old stock and want to keep it, but I love vintage 80s toys. I grew up on the Muppet Babies, and I thought this was so neat. These are vintage tissues from 1988, and yeah, never touched. There was 2 packages there, so I probably will keep one and resell one, but I just thought that was so fun. I've never seen new old stock like that before. I also really liked this binder. I like to pick up binders like that. I'm always using them for various note-taking or just different things around the house, journaling, whatever. So whenever I see a cool one, I definitely always grab it. They were pretty well stocked in this section today. I've been trying to find different types of photo albums that I really enjoy the looks of. I feel like it's a art that a lot of people don't do anymore, or I don't know if you really call it art, but I just love looking through old photo albums, and it's something I really want to do for my kids. It's something I always enjoyed looking at when I was a kid, so I want to start printing off the photos, not just storing them digitally. I know when a lot of people were getting into the minimalism, they started taking their photos and just putting them and storing them digitally, and I just don't like that. I like to have everything accessible, and I guess I'm really old-fashioned that way, so I look forward to getting some albums together. I'm sure my subscribers know how excited I was to find this vegetable harvest themed binder, and it's a recipe binder, so it had sections that you could slide recipe cards into, and then various places where you can just handwrite some recipes as well. A really neat find. I was happy with that. And then for only $3, I found this vintage USA clock with the beautiful turquoise numbers and the little dial there. Such a fun piece. I found the most adorable sewing box up on the top shelf for only $4. I thought the little sewing machine on the top there was so adorable. I couldn't believe I found this book sitting underneath all this decor. If you guys follow me on Instagram, most of you know that I'm a huge music fan, especially 60s, 70s classic rock, and so this was definitely right up my alley. They're only asking $6 for it. Hey, there's the Beatles. And yeah, I'll pay $6 for that all day long. Such an amazing find. So sitting underneath of the classic rock book was this tote of greeting cards. So it had various assortment of different greeting cards and envelopes. I believe it was only $6 for the entire tote. I kind of skimmed through it just to see if they look like something I would use, because sometimes I don't always like what the cards are. But yeah, it's a little challenging with one hand. But yeah, they had some cute ones in there I think I can definitely use, and maybe I could resell a few in lots depending on what is in there. I just didn't quite, feel like looking through all of them. I saw enough, all I needed to see for $6. I knew I couldn't go wrong. They had another box beside it, but the cards weren't as nice in my opinion, so I just went with the one box. I figured that would be enough. But definitely a great find. I was happy with that. Now we are heading over to the linen section. I always check for the crocheted blankets. If they're matted with pet hair pretty badly, I tend to skip them even if they look pretty nice. Especially the cat hair, like they seem to be smaller and really intertwined in them a lot. Plus I'm allergic to cats. I don't really want to be dealing with cat dander and stuff, so I usually skip that. But I love to find vintage towels, and anytime I see the fringe, I always just kind of glance through and look for the fringe, right? Because that's almost always a vintage towel. And I did find a pretty amazing one today. So besides the large gold vintage towel I found, I also came across that blue and green floral one. That was more of a hand towel, and this one here is larger. This one was only $3, and there is a tag on it somewhere. I'll have to check it out and see a little bit further, but definitely it was such a great find. I was happy with that. The quality of those vintage towels just seem to hold up, and they're just so much more absorbent and better, I think, than modern day stuff. I'm sure you guys can tell I'm always drawn to the 1970s colors, so I found this cool tablecloth there and some pretty orange and browns and greens. And then a little further down, there was some sheets that I found that I liked. We'll see it here in a second. And there they are. And so again, very similar to the 1970s colors. I love it even had some florals to it. This was a twin set, so I don't really have a use for a twin set in these colors. I do have two little boys, and I think with the pink and stuff, this is probably a little bit too girly for what they would like, but I really like them. And of course, a Nesting Haven thrift shop trip would not be complete until we checked out the cookbook section. So I always try to find the vintage ones or anything that's kind of along the line of healthy eating, gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, stuff like that is the kind of recipes I like to look for if it's modern day especially. But yeah, I usually would grab just about anything vintage. How funny was this? I didn't know that Forrest Gump had a recipe book with his mama's favorite chocolate recipes. I thought that was hilarious, and I had to get that. I might actually end up reselling that one. I just thought it was just too funny not to pick up. They had this vegan book that looked pretty neat. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have too many photographs of the recipes inside. I definitely prefer that, especially almost expect it in the more newer cookbooks. It seems like it shouldn't take too much more effort to really get those nice photos if they are making the recipes for the book. It just makes you want to actually cook out of the book if you can see the pictures and what it looks like. I'm a visual person, so I definitely prefer the cookbooks with the pictures, but I will still pick them up sometimes if they are interesting enough. I always come across usually one or two Barefoot Contessa ones, and I don't know, for some reason I just find her to be pretty intimidating. I feel like her recipes just seem complicated from watching her show. They might not be, I always enjoyed watching her show, but she just seems like a pretty knowledgeable and fancy cook, and I'm not sure I could tackle something like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and recap all of the items I was able to find today. I think I found some pretty amazing things, and to be honest, I'm probably not reselling too much out of it. I really liked the items I found. They were definitely my style, and will go in my own personal collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. I super appreciate it, and we will catch you in the next one. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you then. Bye.